Well, it's the day after the presidential and National Assembly election here in Nigeria. But the thing is, that's just the beginning of the story.
That's true. Now, all eyes are on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to give the vote, to complete all votes, and then count, and then tell us the results.
But the question is, how long will that take? Well, we'll just have to exercise some patience, and you'll just have to stay with Channels Television as we bring you the event as they unfold. All
right, so this is Poll Stream, that segment on our election coverage program, The Verdict, where we give you the mood on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This is where we give you all what has been happening from day one till whenever it ends, till when results are out. And this is Channels Television's headquarters right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Poll Stream. I am Anne Nwawodu.
And I am Kayode Okikiolu. Well, like we said, Poll Stream is a part of our dedicated election coverage program, The Verdict. And right here, just like Anne said, we bring together all the major topics on social media as Nigeria decides. You can be a part of this conversation.
That's very true. You can be part of the conversation by using the hashtag PollStream or hashtag Verdict, hashtag 2019 elections on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're on all the platforms. You can also follow Channels Television on all our social media platforms. Tell us about your voting experience. We told you about the hashtag yesterday. So we want to feel your experiences, the highs, the lows, and every other thing in between.
Well, that's right. So how about we start off with some of the things you probably missed online? Well, the first one is the fact that hashtag Buhari is winning and hashtag Atiku is winning has been trending.
So both hashtags have been trending, but we will still wait on INEC to give us the final results, right? Well, supporters of both candidates have been on social media talking about how their candidates are having an early lead. This is happening despite INEC's warning that individuals should wait for the official announcement of results.
Yes, we cannot say that enough. But away from that, hashtag Nigeria Votes 2019 is also trending, as you would expect. And this is what people are saying on Twitter. Well, let's start from this tweet from his handle is actually Banjela Blade, and he says, the reason for this election violence is not the president, that's M. Buhari, or the People's Democratic Party's candidate Atiku, official PDP or APC Nigeria. He goes on to say it is because your slave masters, according to him, that he used that term, your slave masters know that your prejudice for your party and candidate will not make you frown against what is wrong, hashtag election day. And, you know, I think it's important to actually tell people that election and violence don't actually go side by side. I mean, election
We can avoid violence.
Exactly. They're wide apart. Exactly.
All right, so let's take the next tweet. It's coming from the tweet of God. He says, Nigeria, all right, I guess this is coming from Degos T. He says, election day in the United Kingdom is just like any normal day. On my way to work, I branched at the polling booth and exercised my civic rights. In Nigeria, you leave your house praying you don't get mutilated or shot by some political thug, which was what we saw in some parts of the country yesterday.
A few of them. But thankfully, the election was peaceful in other areas. Let's move on to this other tweet. We'll still tell you about the issues that trended on social media. This next one is coming from Kelvin Igwe at Igwe Official. And this is what he says. It says, nobody attacked voters in Banana Island, Maitama, and similar areas, but places like Ejigbo, Abule Ado, and Ketu. And he goes on to use a term or an expression that, of course, that's not fit for today.
Well, I don't totally agree with this. It doesn't mean that because a place is totally posh, or let me use that word, it means that violence no matter how humble a place is, or somehow.
I mean, you
think
decide,
there should be peace.
Yeah, people
everywhere.
decide what they want to happen in their area.
I mean, we're all human beings. So those who live on Banana Island also live in Abule Egba. We're all human beings, so we can decide how we want elections to be.
You know, you can always trust Twitter to put a funny spin and twist to major issues in the country.
Okay, so do we have this tweet from the tweet of God? He says, Nigeria, your election has been marked by corruption, inefficiency, fraud, vote stealing, intimidation, and violence. You have done Okay.
You know, funny what people are saying on social media. Let's move on to some other trending topics now. Banky also trended on Twitter. Now, when I say Banky, I mean Banky W. Why was it trending?
Bankole Wellington,
exactly,
actually. He's
Banky
a musician.
W. Yeah, and this is why he trended. Well, you know what, let's just bring you some of the tweets that people put up on Twitter. This is coming from Fikuni Fixie, and this is what he says. He says, regardless of whether Banky wins or not, a silent revolution has begun. The momentum has to be maintained and sustained to increase the volume of this revolution. Nigerians can change the status quo if we intentionally choose to. He goes on to say, well done.
Another one is coming from Drolu Fumilayo. Says, however the results go, Banky is the poster boy of this year's election campaigns. That's an absolute newbie.
Yeah.
With almost no political history, can join a new party, take up the challenge of facing the two main heavyweight parties in a state like Lagos. It's an amazing achievement.
And I think this is actually great inspiration to a lot of young people.
We're talking about the youth yesterday,
yeah, exactly.
and how they're doing enough. They're doing a lot, but they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
So this is actually good.
This is what they call motivation or ginger. Moving on to this next tweet from Kambai JR. It goes on to say, Banky W ran in an area perfectly suited for a candidate like him. He also chose the perfect position to run for, prestigious enough to gain attention, small enough to campaign impactfully. And he had years pre-selling himself. But most importantly, he worked very hard to get the turnout.
All right, so I think that's why Banky trended. We can see why he trended. He also replied, Banky replied by telling everyone he's so grateful to everyone who has believed in the movement to give them a chance. Yeah. He said they have worked when they are top 3 and they have earned every single vote they got. They will still sustain the momentum and continue building this movement as they are not finished yet. And I hope their campaign promises, if they eventually get there, I hope they will fulfill all their promises.
Okay, let's move on to another topic that trended on Twitter. Hashtag Yorubas also trended. And, well, there's a tweet from Cyber Agbero. Interesting.
He says he lives in Lagos and his landlord
and landlady are Yorubas and reduced rent. So
he
says, so we'd stay. Majority of my neighbors are Yorubas. We all took a walk to our PUs to vote. Well, let's move on to... okay, well, there's actually a video we'd like to show you also on social media.
That video is coming from Okoto by Ugo Sunrise. Let's see what he has to say.
We must vote. We must vote. We must vote. The Igbo people are out. They said they must vote because they know that Agbo is mainly for Igbo people. They don't want us to vote because they know we will not vote them in. Look at everywhere scattered. Just imagine. Ballot paper burned. Look at it on the ground. Look at it. Burned. Burned. See, scattered. Everything is scattered. Everything is scattered.
All right, so that video actually had people saying that the Igbo community is being targeted in Lagos, but we had counter tweets to tell us that that is actually kind of fake news, which is not very true.
And like we read earlier, there's a tweet from Cyber Agbero, and he says he lives in Lagos, that his landlord and landlady are Yorubas and reduced to rent. So he says, would stay. Majority of my neighbors are Yorubas. We all took a walk to our polling units to vote. All the area boys call her actually, Iya twins, and some help her carry stuff if she walks to the market.
All right, so I think this is just about unity, and people shouldn't cause panic anywhere and incite violence. So please, we should leave peacefully. We are all Nigerians. This is coming from Nicholas Ibiekwe. He says that, call me anything you like. I was born in Lagos. I have enjoyed love from the Yorubas, married the best woman I can possibly marry, who is also Yoruba. And he says, Biko, I like that word. Call those who attacked your polling units and they're sponsored by their names and leave the Yoruba people alone.
Well, I think it's very important to emphasize unity at this point, and this is not a time to whip up ethnic sentiments, religious sentiments, or what have you. This is Nigeria. That's the big picture right
Well,
here.
we also tell security agents to please begin their investigation. So if there is anyone found culpable, no matter the ethnic group, please bring them to book, because we deserve to have a peaceful election. So anyone going against that has to be in trouble.
Okay, so let's take a break from social media now for a moment, and let's discuss some of the major talking points of the election. And joining us in our studio right here in Lagos is a journalist, Ayobami Ladipo, to just, shed some more light on the security situation during the elections.
Hello, Ayobami.
Hi.
So how are you?
I'm fine.
Generally now, elections in Nigeria, what are your thoughts at the moment, seeing what has happened from yesterday till today?
Okay, let me start by saying it's sad that in 2019 we still had to go on the lane of electoral violence. We still had to witness tribal sentiment and issues like this. Unfortunately, the game is on us, the people, on us, the electorate, who still allow themselves to be controlled by some set of people who still sponsor violence, like we've seen several videos in the last 24 hours. And I think I listened to something earlier, someone comparing people who live in Banana Island and probably people who live on the mainland, kind of. Now, I saw a picture of the VP yesterday at VGC, and you saw people that were well seated. Apparently, people who feel comfortable would not carry ballot boxes. They won't start throwing stones and shooting anyhow. The game is always on the electorate, the poor masses who are doing everything humanly possible to put food on their own tables. Yet they are the same ones who claim that they want change, who crave for change, who want a better life, who wants to get to the next level, who wants a better Nigeria. Yet they are still the ones who are still being used to perpetrate evil amongst themselves.
So in essence, you're saying that, individuals have a choice to make as to whether I choose violence.
Apparently.
Okay, so moving forward now, this is just the presidential and National Assembly elections. In a few weeks, we'll have the governorship elections across states in the country. So what would you like to see change, talking about security?
Okay, first off, the president a couple of days ago had talked about ballot box snatching and the order to the shoot-aside order. Now, I was expecting that yesterday we would have more security details around polling booths and not at city bus stops and junctions. But it was obvious that we had more of them at bus stops, at junctions, than at polling booths. Because if you had seen videos that were shared on social media and the rest of it, virtually most of those polling booths, even especially in Lagos, where ballot boxes were snatched or ballot papers burnt, they had unarmed policemen. We saw one where the policeman, it was just a policeman, who was trying to get the ballot boxes from about 6 thugs. They were destroying it. Now, where were the army? Where were other policemen? Even the policeman in question did not have a gun. So, security-wise, because the gubernatorial election is going to be a grassroots election, and you're going to have more people come out to vote, because there will be a lot of stakeholders. It's in every state. So it's going to be controlled by people in those states. This is not to the federal anymore. Now, so we need more security operatives at every polling unit. Not to scare people, but to control.
Exactly, because I was going to bring in that now, because a lot of people said they want to feel comfortable wherever they are. They want to, if you see army and everyone around you carrying guns and everything, and you're just going to just cast your vote, wouldn't it scare Nigerians? Because that was what they were saying. I think that was why they had to station them at strategic points.
Okay, even if they were going to station them at strategic points, I believe that there should have been a sizable number of them at polling units. Okay. How will thugs just come to a polling unit that would have about 1,000 or more people, or even less than 1,000, and just destroy things, have a free day? They had time to destroy as much as possible. They had time to chase people. They had time to butcher some people. They had time to stone themselves.
All right. Okay, so I think that's where we bring it to an end. Thank you so much, Ayobami. I know that INEC and the Electoral Umpire has learned a lot from this election, so I guess they will do better in the next one. Thank you very much for your time on Pollstream. We'll take a very short break now, but Pollstream will be back, so sit right where you are.